So I'm not sure how Iran and Khomeini are planning to take down Israel when they can't even handle these brave Iranian women. Let's take a look.
Hi, everyone. So, contrary to what you guys might think, it actually does take me a little bit of time to come up with my, Iranian here video clips, because, it is a bit of a challenge to try and take a topic that might be complicated or convoluted or nuanced and not only explain it in less than a minute, but also, make it clear and concise and factual and to provide enough context so people who know nothing about the Middle East can understand. And then once in a while, I come across a headline or news or information about occupied Iran, which to me as an Iranian and to, the 80 million other Iranians who are dealing with this Islamic dictatorship, it's par for the course, right? Like it's something that we're used to, right? Like the utter insanity of the Islamic regime, we're just used to it, right? It's just part of our intergenerational trauma that we have as Iranians, dealing with this Islamic dictatorship. But then when I think about it, right, like I put on my non-Iranian hat, because one of the ways I try to explain things to non-Iranians is by, putting myself in your shoes. When I put myself in your shoes for this one, like it's mind-boggling. It's insane. The utter insanity leaves me with no words. Here's the headline. Here's the headline. Let me just show you guys. Islamic regime cleric blames hijab enforcement failure for the water shortage crisis in Iran. That's not a joke, guys. That's not a parody. The Islamic Republic is literally saying that Allah is punishing Iranians with a water shortage because Iranian women are showing their hair. Do you see the utter insanity that we're dealing with? Like, how do I even begin to explain that in 30 seconds? Like, what do I even say? How do I even explain that? And then how do I even, and then when we Iranians, we try to explain to you guys how backwards and 7th century and misogynistic the Islamic Republic is and Sharia law is barbaric and medieval, we're accused of being Islamophobic, right? It's utter nonsense. Do you see the insanity that we are dealing with? The Islamic regime, right? Their weird 7th century backwards, inbred, medieval, Neanderthalic Sharia law is blaming my hair showing for the water crisis shortage in Iran. And yet somehow I'm the one that's Islamophobic. This is the gaslighting that we Iranians have been dealing with for the last 47 years, right? No one ever talks about how insane the Islamic Republic is. No one ever talks about the fact that these ayatollahs are literally murdering us in the name of Allah and Islam and Muhammad. That's okay, that's fine. But yet when we speak up about it, we're the ones who are attacked. We're the ones who are silenced, right? Meanwhile, you have these insane people like Tucker Carlson or whoever who are going out there and they're praising the awesomeness of Sharia law. That's not Sharia. Sharia law is when Islamic regime clerics blame women for showing their hair, right? I have made Allah mad, right? Allah is mad because I'm showing my hair and therefore there's a water shortage in Iran right now. This is the utter insanity that we are dealing with. Guys, this is why we Iranians are constantly warning you. Do not allow Sharia law to take over your countries. Don't even normalize it. You need to nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. These people are utterly insane. And if we didn't have the documents or the facts or the evidence to prove what we are saying to you, no one would believe us. I mean, if we didn't have proof that that's what these evil demonic clerics are saying in Iran, you guys wouldn't believe me because it's insane. No rational person would ever assume that there is a government out there that is blaming a water shortage crisis on Iranian women showing their hair. And yet that is the utter insanity that we have to deal with. I don't even know how I would fit that into like a 30-second clip, right? And now you know.
Yeah, so just to fill in anyone who's been, I guess, living under a rock, but Iran's been cracking down over the past, like, I don't know, 5-10 years on women not properly covering their hair, wearing hijabs, and the Islamic head coverings, to the point where many women in Iran have been protesting that by actually not wearing it, and they've had their Sharia police come and brutally arrest and sometimes beat and torture these women. Some of these women unfortunately died, and as we know, a few years ago there was a big protest for one of these women who were protesting, and she was killed in the prisons. And again, just the constant lying of this Iranian regime. They can't see that maybe it's their actions against Israel, or the actions, the mismanagement of their resources and their human capital, just utterly destroying their country. Their currency is like an all-time low. They have a drought, as she was mentioning, which is really depleting all their reservoirs after years of mismanagement and not actually listening to environmental protocols and safe practices for water management. And these guys are happily spending billions on rockets and uranium, and their people don't even have basic infrastructure for basic needs. So again, let's learn something from the Iranians. I'm sure everyone has problems in their lives. We can easily point fingers at everyone around us, but sometimes we just need to take a look inside and say, maybe it's true, other people are to blame, but how can I make my situation better without becoming critical of others and negative and just angry? Sometimes I think the solution is just looking within, and hopefully Iran can learn a few lessons from this. Israel's not to blame for all your problems. We're not stealing your clouds and causing drought. That's all we have. Have a good day. Am Yisrael Chai.